Tennyson's like, yes.
Yeah. I still have a lot of things to learn, read, and reread. That's all I can do, and then practice what needs to be done.
Mhm. Okay. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So, what happened on June 14? So, we just started here, June 14.
Pick up the flyers
Uh-huh.
that was ordered,
Mm-hmm.
and that with a total bill of 100.
Mm-hmm.
Then so the amount that we owe, that the company owes from the company, the city printers is only $50 because 50% was because of down payment,
Okay.
advance payment.
Good. So, we recognize that. What do we need to do? We need to complete our advertising expense. Okay, because that is exactly what we did. We bought flyers. Now we're paying for the full amount, so we need to increase our advertising expense. Okay, and because the grand total of the bill was $100, we made an advanced payment. Okay, and so that deducts the bill from $100 to $50. Now, next thing is we're going to use the credit card to pay off the remaining amount. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and journalize this transaction. So here is we're on the 14th of June. Okay, we're completing and also entering in our advertising expense because right now we only currently have 135. I'm sorry, we only have a currently of $85 in advertising expense. So we're going to complete this transaction, advertising expense, because we bought flyers. Okay. And also, we made a prepaid amount, right? We made the down payment, so we need to apply that to the invoice. And we also utilize our Visa payable to pay off the remaining balance. Okay, so my accounts are going to be what's my advertising?
60,000.
60,000. Prepaid accounts should be 18,600. And lastly, my Visa payable should be 22,000. Okay. So, because our total bill for our advertising expense is going to be $100, right? We made a down payment of 50, so therefore what we have to pay now remaining is going to be 50. All right, so now our debits and credits match. And I'm going to go ahead and indicate here in my description that I paid off City Printers, right? That's the vendor, City Printers. Okay. Did I have an invoice or a sales receipt number?
None.
Okay, not that I'm aware of. Good. Um, However, I can go ahead and indicate that I did 2,000 flyers. Okay. And yep, that's pretty much it.
Too many.
Say that again.
I was just putting in myself. I put a note zero balance.
Okay, whatever you like, whatever you like makes sense to you. So here, I again I put City Printers 2,000 flyers, and that should be enough for me to understand that transaction.
Question.
Yes.
Yeah, isn't it prior to that? We already input the $50.
Uh,
Are we?
Yeah, in our other journal here, I just
Other
put
than that, yeah.
50% down payment.
So wouldn't that be a double entry?
No, because we owe them 100.
Yeah, but the mere fact that we gave a down payment of $50, so isn't it supposed to be $50 only for the whatever the balance is?
Okay, so if we go all the way up to our original transaction, we bought 2,000 flyers at 5 cents each. What's our grand total that we owe?
100.
100. We only made an entry for $50,
Yeah.
which was half the
So
payment.
yeah, we gave $50, so it's only the balance that we owe them right now is $50.
And that's exactly what we paid right here. We only paid them $50.
But on the advertising expense, do you have to put the entire amount then, or is it, you just put the difference, the $50 there as well?
When we originally journalized our $50 down payment, did we ever touch the account advertising expense?
I think we had that. I have to take a look on the very top part of when we first.
I think it was here. We made a down payment for the $50. So this was on the 12th of June. Okay, I went too far up. Okay, so 11, 12, 12th of June, here you go. That's too far up. Advertising expense was the first transaction for the journal. Oh, wait, hold on. That's
Yeah.
prepaid. We only tapped into prepaid. The previous one, we made a journal entry into advertising expense, right? For the newspaper ad. The second entry that we made was only the down payment. Did we ever touch the advertising expense account?
No, I'm referring to the, wait, what's the case? Hold on a second. Because we are referring to the flyer. My question was with the flyer because the mere fact that you already, the company already put $50 as a down payment. So when we journalize the second entry, which is the $50 balance, uh, why are we putting the whole amount of 100?
Because that's how much we owe. The whole thing was
So,
$100. We only placed $50 down.
no, but what I'm
We
saying
still
is
owe
why
them.
we still owe them $50 only anymore because we
But
already paid
okay,
50.
so all right. Right now, this transaction that I've journalized was $50, correct? Where did I
Yeah.
place it? Where did I put it? Where did I place this $50?
Mm,
Where did I place this $50?
Prepaid account?
In a prepaid account. The bill is a total for $100. Did I ever place it into advertising expense? I made a total advertising expense for the total of $100. Did I ever place it in there?
no, but my question in there is the mere fact you already prepaid the 50. So you're only paying
You're paying the remainder amount of
the
50.
remainder. Yeah, the remainder.
Correct. And that's exactly what we did here. We're paying the remaining amount of $50 right here. But what we're doing is we're subtracting out our down payment, right? Because this is, okay, so think of it as a deposit or a placeholder. If I've already given money to someone in advance, right? That means I have a credit value of $50. Meaning that it's going to apply to my invoice. My invoice was a grand total of $100. So I need to utilize that voucher or that coupon to apply to my invoice to make it so that I only owe $50. And that's exactly what I did here. I'm taking my voucher of $50 that I paid already. And now all I'm paying in the remaining amount is just that $50. And I'm placing it all into advertising expense because that's exactly what my bill was for. I've never touched my advertising expense before. So in this case, I'm giving it the grand total of the $100 for the $2,000 for the 2,000 flyers that I just picked up. When I made the first payment, did I pick up anything?
No.
So now that I've come to here, they called me up and said, hey, come pick up your flyers and pay the remaining amount. I have to come here and now I have the full 2,000 flyers. Now, where does that belong to? Where does these 2,000 flyers belong to?
To the advertising expense.
Exactly.
But my question is, isn't it, I know the total is 100, but the mere fact that you already put the 50 prior to that, so if I were to understand then, in order to even that out, you have to put the entire total cost of the advertising, which is 100. Is that how you understand? Because isn't that a double entry? Because of the previous and the 12, you already gave the 50 there. So
But
then,
we never placed it into advertising expense.
okay.
Could we
So
have the advertising expense? I'm just curious because now my mind is wondering, like, could we have placed it in advertising expense, the $50, or no? Wait till the transaction is complete. Wait till we get the other um get the rest of the flyers.
okay, so how prepaid accounts is it's an advanced payment, correct? Your job isn't complete yet.
Okay,
So if we go
that's
to,
it.
yes, the job has not been completed yet. So you're being owed service. And on top of that, you haven't even picked up any of your flyers yet. So you're giving someone free money right now. And if they don't do their job, then you can go revoke it. You could say, I made this payment right here. Here's my check. I'm going to void it if you don't process my 2,000 flyers. I never picked up my flyers. So therefore, in my head, I got to utilize it as a prepaid account, just like prepaid rent. I paid in advance, but they still owe me service, right? With prepaid rent, I paid 4 months in advance. That means I still have 3 months in my account waiting for me to redeem it. In this case, I made a prepaid amount, right? I received a voucher. Now that I'm here to pay for the rest, I'm here to give you the voucher, give you the remaining amount of the money, but you're giving me the total amount of what I originally owed you for, which is the 2,000 flyers. So, Lynette, look at this. We're in advertising expense. Is there anywhere that I've claimed the 2,000 flyers?
No.
No. We only have the journal, right? We only have the newspaper advertising. Now tell me, if I made this purchase expense, or not purchase expense, this advertising expense, how much is the whole thing worth?
100.
100. And if we follow the debits and credits rule, and I only pay $50, where's the other $50 coming from?
I'm sorry, I do not know.
The prepaid accounts, right? We paid them in advance, right? So when we pay someone in advance, they're supposed to give us either a voucher or some kind of coupon, right? In our sense, we received a receipt. So now that when I come back to pick up my flyers, not only do I have to give them the voucher back, I also have to pay for the remaining amount. So think of it that way. Think of it as this, like, okay, if I'm doing prepaid rent, if I paid them 4 months in advance, that means they owe me 3 months. So here I'm going to my landlord and I'm redeeming my month's worth of rent. That's exactly what I'm doing right here. The total amount doesn't change. You still owe them $100. Or the advertising that you spent for is still going to be $100. But this time, you gave them a deposit. So they're holding the money. So then, in another sense, when you give them a down payment, what they're doing is they're ensuring that in case you do fault the payment, they're getting money out of it. Even if they didn't come to pick up their $2,000, their 2,000 flyers, they're still getting money out of it. Okay? Is that making any more clear sense? In this case, we never journalized or we never entered in our $100 advertising expense. So if I were to go ahead and put it in here, is it worth 100 or is it worth only 50?
It's 100, but my main question there is the mere fact that you already gave a down payment of $50, but isn't that supposed to be the advertising expense right now is whatever the difference, or you have to put the whole amount?
You have to put the whole amount because tell me, Lynette, when I actually made the payment, or what? Okay, let's say I didn't make the payment, right? I didn't pay them a down payment. How much is my advertising expense? It's for the full 100, right? Because I asked them to print me 2,000 flyers for 5 cents each. So tell me, is my advertising expense $50 or is it 100? Even if I didn't have a down payment. Let's just ignore that down payment.
Okay, that's my main question there. You know, why are you putting 100 again, or 100 when in fact on the 12 you already made a $50 payment?
But did I update my ledger? Does my ledger tell me I have $50 worth of advertising expense?
No, we input it on the the ledger. It's on our ledger, I think.
We are on the ledger right now. So where did I place it? Did I update my ledger and say that I have $50 worth of advertising expense? Did I actually claim 50% of it? Did I actually go to the store and say I picked up 1,000 of those flyers? Do I actually have that expense?
No.
I haven't incurred it yet. I haven't received the bill, nor have I ever received the actual items that I've purchased. I just only placed a down payment. And this down payment is going to be applied to my invoice. Okay, so when we move on to the subsidiary ledger, maybe that will make more clear sense. Okay? All right, so here, let's go back to our journal. Here, my total advertising expense is going to be for the $100. My down payment of $50 is going to be credited out because now I'm redeeming my amount of money that I need, right? I'm redeeming the expense account. I'm redeeming my flyers. I'm picking up all 2,000 flyers. And because I have a remaining balance due, it's going to be for the $50 because I've already made the advanced payment, okay? So let's go ahead and place this in the ledger. Since I'm already here on advertising expense, it should be on page 34 of your ledger. And I'm going to go ahead and indicate that on June 14? All right. I picked up 2,000 flyers. Okay. General Journal number 4. And I've increased it by $100. Okay, because that was my whole total amount due. Now, if I go ahead and apply my formula, oh, I didn't even type in my form, so I'm going to go up 1, which is taking the previous balance. I'm going to add any debits, and I'm going to subtract any credits, giving me a grand total of $185. Okay. Once I've done that, my next thing I gotta do is I gotta take out my advance payment and I gotta go ahead and charge my credit card. So going back to my assets, right? So this is page 16 for your prepaid accounts. I'm sorry, page 15 for your prepaid accounts. So here I am in prepaid accounts. And I'm going to redeem or deduct my advanced payment. So here, I'm going to go ahead and write invoice. Actually, I don't have an invoice, so I'm going to go ahead and just write advertising. Expense. Okay, or I can actually write here, say, pick up flyers. All right, general journal number 4. And this time we're going to decrease my account, my prepaid account, to reduce it again back down to $6,654. Okay. And then the last thing I'm going to do is on page 18 should be your Visa payable. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to include the remaining balance here. So for the 14th, I went ahead and paid remaining amount for flyers. Right? General journal number 4. Okay? And because I'm charging an additional $100, therefore, what is my total payment I've made? If I've entered in my formula correctly, I now have a total of $185. So look at here, Lynette. I made 2 charges of $50. What is that total? What does that total equal up to? It's 100. Exactly. So let's go to our subsidiary ledger and let's actually break it down. Maybe this will make a lot more sense to you. I'm going to go to my city printers. Okay? City printers. All right? And I'm going to go ahead and put the date of 14th. And I'm also still going to put 2,000 flyers because we actually picked them up. And I'm going to write pick up. Pick up. And I'm going to also indicate that I paid it with a Visa payable. Okay? So we have no invoice there. General journal number 4. Okay? And am I still on general journal 4? Am I already past it? I think I'm still on it. Let's double check to confirm. Yes, I'm still on general journal number 4. Okay? So here, back to my subsidiary ledger. So, can you tell me, Lynette, how much was my total invoice amount due? What was my total amount that I had to pay?
100.
100, okay?
You already made a payment of $50.
Correct. So, if I were to just do this, right? Okay, so we know that the formula is $100 minus any prepaid amounts, minus any returns and allowances, minus discounts, and minus payments, right? So right now, my current bill is now $50. Do you see that? Because we made an advance payment. It reduces your total amount that you're actually being billed for. However, the amount of advertising, it's still going to be $100. You didn't take a discount. You just placed a down payment. That's all you did. No matter what, at the end, you're still incurring $100 worth of advertising expense. And by looking at our subsidiary ledger, right, We've just finally entered in our advertising expense at the full $100 because we finally received the items. We actually picked it up. We got billed. So in this case, I never updated my advertising expense. I need to place it for the full amount because that's what I actually originally paid for. Yes, because I made an advance payment for $50, but at the end of the day, how much am I paying? Am I paying $50 in total, or am I paying $100 in total?
What I was thinking is you're just paying the difference because the mere fact that an advance payment was already done. So that's my question in there. Why you're putting 100 when in fact you already put the 50 down?
Right. And then here, by me showing you, this is what the current bill is. I've already made my advance payment of $50. My total bill was supposed to be for $100. So how much do I actually owe? 50. And I went ahead and paid it with my Visa credit card. So I think what you're confusing most about is making that prepaid down payment.
Yeah, that's my main question there.
Yes.
Because you put the 100 when you already made the prepayment of $50 there. So isn't it supposed to be?
It's supposed to be for the total amount originally purchased for. Even if I didn't make the down payment, right? Or if I did make the down payment, would it make sense to you to say that you have $50 worth of advertising expense right now? Can you say to me, if I haven't picked up the flyers, I haven't done anything yet, that I have $50 worth of advertising expense? Can you say that to me? Saying because just because you made a down payment, does that mean I currently have $50 worth of advertising expense?
That's temporarily.
Do you have the flyers? Can you utilize it? Can you say, "Oh, I made a down payment to my flyers. Can I give you a flyer right now?"
No.
Exactly. Because how are expenses recorded?
When it is completely done.
When the job is done, when it's completely done, when it's incurred. Have we incurred the expense at all?
Not yet.
Not yet. We can claim, yes, we can claim, oh yeah, I'm 50% there, but can you give your advertising flyers out yet? Did you actually create the expense yet? Did you receive the bill yet? Was the job actually done? No. So that's exactly why. This is we're utilizing the accrual basis. The job hasn't been completed yet. So why are you recording an expense that hasn't happened yet? What if they called you and said, "Hey, your flyers are readily available," but you don't even go pick it up? Can you claim that I made $50 worth of advertising expense already when I haven't even picked up the flyers yet? Did I actually make an expense for the business? And in this case, no, because one, the job isn't done. Even if it was done, did you go pick it up? Did you actually physically have it? Were you actually billed at that point? Okay. So in this case, yes?
Lynn,
Mhm.
for me, it's easier to remember. It's confusing because it's prepaid expense is called expense, but it's kind of like a little savings account, because it's an asset account. It's sort of a little savings account to pay for this when it is finally finished.
Yes.
So I kind of look at it like that. For me, it's
Okay.
just easier to remember.
Yeah.
Prepaid anything is just an asset account.
So it's like, okay, I'll give you another quick example right here. It's like you go to Costco, you buy those prepaid movie tickets, right? You buy it, they're like $10 a voucher, right? Think of it that way. You have a coupon. You already paid in advance. You paid them $10 to receive a voucher. Now, when can you actually redeem it? When you use it. Exactly. And when I claim this voucher, right, is it mine? Is it my property? Yes, you own it. You own the service. And let's say I watch an IMAX movie, right? They say, oh, I'm sorry, you're going to have to pay an additional $6. What you can do is you've already paid $10 in advance, right? You're utilizing your coupon for that $10. And you pay an extra $6 to go ahead and watch your movie. So that's essentially exactly what we're doing here. We're giving them a down payment or a voucher, or we're giving them a prepaid mint amount. So then when the day that comes, we can claim it at the end of the day. All right? Yes? Okay. It doesn't make sense to record an expense if it hasn't happened yet. All right? And you have to know this, especially when you're doing accrual basis. Okay? When you're dealing with cash basis, even then, even so, can you claim all of the expense? Of course not, because you haven't even completed 50% of it, right? Even though you prepaid $50, when do you actually record the whole thing? When you complete the entire thing. That's when, or when you pay it, of course, that's when you record the expense. And in this case, I only paid half. So now that I'm making the other half of the payment, now I can record the entire amount of my expense. Okay? So again, we're in accrual basis. Now that we understand that the job hasn't been completed. Now when I pick it up, the flyers, the job is complete, and now I can record for the full amount. Okay? All right. So we can go ahead and move along. Okay. So now here we have purchase from restaurant supplies. Okay. We purchased something from restaurant supplies. Okay. We purchased 1,000 medium cups and 1,000 large cups, all right? And here they give you how much is each cup, giving you a grand total of $50 for the medium cups and $75 for the large cups, right? Because we actually went to restaurant supplies, they charged us sales tax. Okay? So therefore here we're claiming 135.31 exact change. And we decided to use our business credit card to pay for it. Okay? So, I'm buying business supplies. All right? Can someone tell me, is there an account under business supplies for medium and for large cups? Okay, and what are they?
The card account, am I answering? The card account for the medium is 1160.
11,760?
760. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and the large is 11,765.
Okay, perfect. So we do have an account for that. And we know that we paid with our business credit card. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and indicate here on June 14th that I purchased medium coffee cups. Okay, so I can serve my coffee. All right. I'll also offer large coffee cups. Okay, because I serve large coffee as well. Now, because I'm making a business supplies expense, I'm sorry, not supplies expense, business supplies, right? I'm purchasing items for me to use for my future business, right? My coffee business, right? So they're considered assets because I own them, right? I own the coffee cups the minute I purchase them. Okay? And then of course I paid with my with my Visa credit card. Okay? Now you said it was 11,760 and 11,765, and my Visa payable is 22,000. All right, reached just right to the end of my journal. Okay. Now I have to split the tax between the two items here. All right. My tax is $10. Oh, I put 32. It needs to be 135.31. Okay. Now I need to split the tax of $10.31 amongst the two coffee sizes, right? So how do I split the tax here?
We'll go with 10.15. Oh, 5.15 for the smaller cups and 5.16 on the larger one.
How is tax needs to be prorated? So how are you going to divide the tax? You can't divide them in half because just because they are evenly amounts, right? But what about the price value? Can you divide them in half for the price value?
It should be on the price value.
It's based on the price value. So go ahead and do the calculation. So how much sales tax is going to actually go to my medium cups and how much is actually going to go to my large cups?
Oh, the for the small one, the medium one is 4.13.
413. How did you get 413? Oh, that's right. Yes, 413 for tax. Yes.
For the tax. And then the larger one is 6.18, so 6.19. No, wait, it has to be 31.
Yes, it has to be the 31.
It has to be 31, so it's again 6.15. 31 minus 4.13 is 6.18.
Okay. Now, if you actually calculate the 8.25, I'm sorry, 0.825 to the 75, you're going to get that it's $6.187.
1.87, yeah.
Now, you have to round up for that one, okay? And usually the smaller amount, which is the $50, is going to take the less cut. Yes. So in this case, you have $6.19 applied to the large cups, and you have $4.12 applied to the medium cups. So what is my total amount that I'm going to have for my medium cups?
54.12.
$54.12. And then what is my total amount going to be for my large cups?
81.19.
$81.19. Good. Okay. And I'm also going to say right here that who was my vendor that I went to? I went to Restaurant Supplies. Okay. And I made a purchase of 2,000 cups. Okay. And that's pretty much it. Okay. So now let's go ahead and fill in the information into your ledger. And then we have one more transaction left. So let's fill this into the ledger. Ledger account. So my first thing that I have to indicate was I have business supplies. So this should be actually on page 5. So page 5, under business supplies. Okay, here, medium coffee cups. All right, and here I'm gonna make that I bought 1,000 of them for the medium size. All right, post reference is general journal number 4, and I debited my full amount for $54.12, bringing my beginning balance in my normal balance to be $54.12. Then right under it should be my large cups. So same thing, same date. I'm going to indicate that I bought 1,000 cups. And my post reference is general journal number 4. And same thing, except I paid $81.19. And that's going to be my beginning normal balance in my large cups account. Okay. And then lastly, because I used my Visa payable, right, I used my credit card to swipe this, so it should be on page 18. So here I'm going to indicate on this day that I bought a total of 2,000 coffee cups. Okay. General journal number 4. And because I'm increasing my amount that I owe, I'm increasing it by a total of $135.31. Okay. And that should bring my running balance from $185 all the way up to $320.31. Okay. So that is that there. Okay. And then now, lastly, I gotta do is I have to update my subsidiary ledger. Okay. Because what if one day I decide to return half those cups because I don't need them anymore? It's very important that you do keep record of all transactions and the vendors that you're dealing with, especially when you're dealing with people who like you physically go to. Right? So this in this case, Restaurant Supplies Inc. All right. I'm going to go ahead and make a note that on the 14th, I bought 2,000 coffee cups. And I used my Visa credit card to pay. Visa. Did I have an invoice or a receipt number? And in this case, I don't, but that's okay as long as you're able to recognize when did the transaction have. Your receipt should tell you the date. Okay. So here I don't have one. My post reference going to be my general journal number 4. Okay. And I obviously didn't have terms or a due date or a discount date because I paid it in store. And my full amount that I had to pay for was $135.31, and I made a payment with my credit card, so $135.31. So therefore, if I were to drag down my formula here, it should give me 0, meaning I don't owe restaurant supplies except for my for my cash register that I purchased way back on the 5th of June. So here I only owe $649, which is I've made a finance payment. So in that one we can ignore because we won't pay it until next month. Okay. So that is it for this one. We don't need to update any our ledgers. I mean, we don't need to update our inventory because we haven't dealt with inventory or anything else. So let's go ahead and complete our very, very, very last transaction here. On the 14th of June, what did you also do?
We drew 1,500 from the bank.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So therefore, because I am the owner, or actually Bob Mason's the owner, forgot to completely mention that Bob Mason's the owner. Bob Mason is the owner of Coffee Cafe. And he told you, hey, I made a withdrawal of $1,500. So, can you update the journal with that? And because we're doing a withdrawal, what are we ultimately doing?
Decreasing equity, the owner's equity,
Yes, you are. But when do you actually figure that all out?
when the owner asks for money.
We don't calculate or update our owner's equity until we complete our financial statements. So when we close our books, that's when we're actually going to take it away from our company. So in this case, what we're doing is we have to go write a check out from the bank, obviously, or if you're pulling money out of the bank, you're not really writing yourself a check, but what you're essentially doing is you're taking money out of the bank. But in this case, I'm going to go ahead and, so the owner withdrew money. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I update my checking account, all right, because I made the withdrawal. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and journalize that I'm making an owner's withdrawal. Okay, so can someone tell me what account is owner's withdrawal?
$32,000.
32,000 for my owner's withdrawal account. 10100 is going to be my checking account. And here I'm also going to indicate that the owner withdrew from the bank. So that means I don't need to write a check because the owner just went to the bank and he withdrew the cash. Owner withdrew. Owner withdrew money. Right? All right. And for the total amount, what did he take out from our company? 1,500. Not 15,000, just 1,500. All right. So that is our last transaction for this thing. So let's go ahead and do our ledger to update our numbers there. Okay. So I'm going to finally dip into one of my equity accounts. Okay. And I'm going to go find my little section here where I can find my owner's withdrawal. So on the worksheets, it should be If I went too far down. My income. So here's my equity accounts. It is going to be on page 23 in the worksheets. It's the third one in or third one down. So by doing that, I'm going to indicate that on June 14, that not capital contributions in my owner's withdrawal. So 614. I'm going to shrink this worksheet so I can see everything. All right. Owner's withdrawal for 614. Okay, item. You don't really need to write anything just because it's pretty straightforward. You can say withdrew from bank. Okay. Why am I still in my worksheet? I need to be in here. There you go. So owner's withdrawal, so 614 withdrew from bank. Okay, post reference is general journal number 5 since we entered into the second or to a brand new page. And because it's a debit amount, we're going to debit it for the 1500, which means I'm going to have a debit balance of 1500. Okay. And then I'm going to go to my assets, right? Page 1. I'm going to go up to my checking account because I made a withdrawal. Okay, I went to the bank, the owner went to the bank and they made a withdrawal. So on 614, owner withdrew from bank. Okay, general journal number 4. General journal number 5. All right, and we're decreasing our bank account by 1500. Okay, so therefore my total amount that's currently in my bank account should be $4,189.92. All right. Do I need to go to my subsidiary ledger?
Lynn, have a question.
Yes.
Now, whenever we withdraw money from the checking account,
Mm-hmm.
it should be via a check.
Good question. You can write yourself a check so then it's legitimate, right? And it's depending on what you want to do. You can just go to because if you're the owner of the bank, you have access to deposit money and withdraw money at any given time. You're just given a withdrawal statement or a withdrawal receipt or a deposit receipt, right? You can do whatever you want because you're the owner, right? You don't physically have to write yourself a check and go to the bank and cash it out. You don't necessarily have to do that. That is good business practice because that way you can keep track of your transactions and you can make it's a paper trail, right? At least you can acknowledge why you took the money out instead of just going to your bank, taking the money out and not giving a reason why. Because then it looks like, hey, you're stealing from your company, but you own the company. So it is a good business practice. We can go ahead and write ourselves a check and go physically cash it out however you want it, just so then we can keep good business practices. So with that being said, do you want to write yourself a check? Or do you want to write the owner a check?
No.
Okay, so we're going to have a withdrawal slip or something like that, but that's fine because we're the owner of the company. We can do whatever. It's our money. So in this case, we don't need to write a check. All right, so that way we don't need to go to our check register and have to update our check register, okay? So that means that is done, and this is done here. Right? We don't need to go to the bank and physically write ourselves a check to just cash it out right then and there. You can just go directly there and take a withdrawal. Okay? So,
Granted, I'm sorry.
go ahead.
But granted that you have your own bookkeeper there,
Mhm.
then the owner has to inform the bookkeeper that, or give the receipt that you withdrew this amount.
Right.
So that when it comes to balancing and things like that.
Yeah. And then you're normally supposed to be given a withdrawal receipt. But in this case, they already told us, hey, here they gave us the receipt, so we know that they took out money from our company. We know that because how else do we know that the owner withdraw money? Okay, so they did give us to us, and the bookkeeper does know that that the owner took money away from the company. All right, and that's why we are now recording that I took away 1,500 for the owner. Okay. Any other questions?
No.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you a question again. Do I need to update my subsidiary ledger?
No.
No, because this is an internal transaction. We're not dealing with any vendors. We're not dealing with any customers or employees. This is just us on a one-to-one basis internally into the company. So with that being said, we are completely done with the journal, with the ledger, and just to keep my transactions clear or clean, I'm going to go ahead and either draw a line or I'm going to fill it in. Okay, and I'm going to make a note here that I should be able to start my new transaction, but I'm also going to be completing a trial balance. Okay, so here I'm going to indicate trial balance week 2. All right. And because with the time that we have left in class, there's unfortunately, we just entered in a brand new set of a bunch of accounts there. Okay, so what we're going to do is tomorrow, that's the first thing that we're going to work on. And then once we complete that, I'll post the answers and then I'll go ahead and post in week 3. So you should have all of week 3 tonight. Okay, but the answers to this, I'll go ahead and post the ledger, the journal, and the I don't know, no, subsidiary ledger doesn't really matter. So I'll do that and the inventory worksheet, but I will not post the answer to the trial balance because we will do that together tomorrow. Okay? Any other questions in regards to anything that we learned up to? Just know that once we complete our trial balance, you guys are going to tell me what to do. Okay, so I'm going to promote you from bookkeeper to accountant. All right, and I'm going to overshadow you, or oversee you to make sure that you don't make those mistakes. Okay?
We have our license first before we do that.
Well, no, it's okay. It's okay.